A shake before your shift or a bar before the bus. Americans' hunger for protein is booming. But is the craze for gains about health over hype? WGEM's Davon Bryan helps us understand the rapidly growing industry.
In recent years, the market for protein supplements has surged. What once was commonly associated with bodybuilders and athletes has now made its way to the shelves of everyday consumers. From fitness enthusiasts, corporate professionals, to everyday busy parents and teenagers, many are looking for an easier way to eat.
It's a convenience thing for me. I could have everything planned out for the day and then one of our kids gets sick. So the shake's a great way to get some additional protein.
Recent research shows the U.S. protein market size in 2024 was estimated at more than $2.7 billion and is expected to rise 8.5% to around $6.3 billion in 2034, according to Precedence Research's Protein Market Trend Report. Christy Taylor, a local nutritionist at Hannibal Regional Hospital, says the reason why may be right in front of your face.
I think most of the foods that we purchase are influenced by media.
Hall says most Americans can meet their protein needs from a whole foods approach, so in some cases, supplementing additional products may lead to complications.
So I think sometimes there's this mindset that more can always be better. So I think, you can always overdo something. If someone's overdoing protein, it could lead to GI discomfort, or if they have a lactose sensitivity, they need to make sure they're choosing the right protein.
One of the biggest concerns for some health professionals is the lack of regulation for these supplements. A study done by the Clean Label Project tested more than half of the top selling products contain measurable levels of heavy metals, which has dietitians cautious about a potential risk for some customers.
Certainly, anytime we think about any nutrient-related risks, or especially like foodborne illness, we think of an at-risk population. So young children, pregnant women, older adults. So those are all people that I would certainly caution them to be consuming these supplements, especially ones that are not third-party tested.
Taylor says, bottom line, it may be cheaper to buy the prepackaged protein, but consider consuming it in moderation. Davon Bryant, WGEM News.
All right, thank you, Davon. Taylor and Hall both encourage customers to find products that have been tested by third-party companies and have NSF and GNP certified stamps of approval.